Hey folks, this is a walkthrough for anybody who is participating in the Intro to Theater asynchronous online class build. Um, so just to set us up, what I have done is I have built us a structure that we can all, I hope, play in. The plan is that once you take this sandbox as your own class, there are things that you can replace, things that you can alternate your own assignments for. But the goal is to diminish the work the individual has to do, and also to make use of the incredible expertise that we have across this department. So there's a couple of things I'm going to walk you through. I'm going to walk you through some key points in the orientation. I'm going to walk you through some resources that we are gathering as faculty to help each other. And I'm going to walk you through the structure of a module. Okay, so first I'm going to start with the homepage. So I'm going to put on my director for the School of Arts and Entertainment hat for a second and tell you where this is coming from. One of the things I am seeing as I'm visiting campuses is that there really is a desire to be more deeply connected across the campuses within the theater department. And by connected, I mean access to resources and access to classes and just access to being celebrated. So one of the ways that I can see us doing that is by showing students how to be involved in theater, showing them what classes are available. If they know what classes are available, they can start to ask for those classes and express interest. And B, help them get to know different faculty across the campuses. So those are two things that you're going to see I've built into this orientation and am hoping to build throughout the course. So watch for that. You'll see that at the bottom of this homepage, I'm listing some resources. So if they want to be more involved in theater, the resources are here. Here is the Introduction to Theater. This is what I have written. You can certainly rewrite this to suit yourself. I have tried to write this so that it is not just my voice, but that it could also be your voice. So there's that. So let's go right to the orientation module. There are some things you're going to want to change. For example, probably you will want your own faculty introduction video. You're probably going to want to adjust this to be more personal to you. Once this course is built, one of us, I am assuming me, but you are welcome to volunteer, will create a video that will talk students through how to navigate. That I anticipate we will keep across the board unless you want to make your own. Notice that we're including links, these hyperlinks throughout. I have found that even when we have this list here, those hyperlinks can be super helpful. Next, we've got this course facilitators page. This is going to be something that you will want to adjust for you. You don't want my face, the most prominent face, on a course that is your course. However, what I do hope we can do, and this is in an effort to continue the department cohesion, is to have the bios of the faculty who contribute to our department. So like if I'm curious about voice classes, or if I'm curious about industry mentorship, Ginny Kopf is an excellent resource, and this gives them one more touch point for how to proceed. Let's go through here, and we're just going to flip through this. Most of this is exactly the way the digital professorship suggested that we do this, especially this orientation. Here is the course schedule. This is going to get more specific once we have built this. But this schedule is keeping us all on the same page. So as you're building a module, like if you're building module 1.2, what is a play? We're going to have that module and the assignments in that module due within these dates, the 31st through the 6th. Now, I have learned that it is helpful in an online class to have 2 days a week that things tend to be due. I have arbitrarily selected Thursdays and Sundays. As we build this together, I'm going to ask that we keep Thursday, Sunday as the due days. But once you make this class your own, feel free to choose whatever days work for you and your personal schedule and grading spectrum. Okay? The idea is that we're doing 2 modules a week. Please notice that I've worked it into 3 categories. So anything that has a 1 as the first number is going to be referring to practitioners. So what is a play, but also you've got the critic, the playwright, the actor, the director, the designers, the technicians, stuff like that. At the end of each large section, I have a module assessment. And so, and I'm devoting a week to whatever assignments. So that's not necessarily a week of new content. That is a week of cumulative assessment. And it can be project-based. It can be a multiple choice test. It can be however you would like to assess. I anticipate that as we craft assessments, we may give ourselves a couple of options. And you, the teacher, may choose. Module 2, 2.1, 2.3, 2.5, we're looking primarily at theater history. Once we get into the 3s, we're looking at, we could call it theater genres, but we can also call it contemporary theater. We're looking at like 1900 forward-ish, and spending a solid amount of time on theater today. And then we've got this final assessment and the final exam. So that's kind of how the schedule's working. Policies really drawn from the digital professorship. This I actually think I need to edit. I will show you the grading. Let's go to grading right now. So I have set up weighted sections. Written assignments, which are just the play critiques, I am attributing 30% of the total. Module assessments, which are the end of each module, or the end of each major section. So the end of theater practitioners, the major assessment is potentially, could be a test, or it could be this observation play. The end of theater history could be a group performance and presentation. It could also be a test. And then you would have one that would be 3 point whatever. So 3 major assessments. And then we're looking at participation. And my argument is that anything that you want to have points for, but is not one of those 3 major assessments, will be in participation. And so we've got 30%, 50%, 20%. And so let's go back to modules. And then I'll go to orientation, but we're going to skip a couple of these things. A lot of these things are things you guys can personalize. The textbook. This class is based on the theater textbook by Robert Cohen, and it is a Valencia special edition. And so we are exploring open source texts for this class, but as a department, there has not been a decision made. So we are going to stick with this until another decision has been made. Moving back to modules. This is in recommended sites and pages. This is another way for students to become connected to the larger community, to the Valencia community and also the Orlando community. If there are websites that are specific to your area, let's go ahead and include those. Because as we are expanding beyond East Campus, we also know that West Campus and Osceola Campus and Lake Nona and Point Siena, they all have things that are close to them. So the goal is to provide students guidance for how to become active in the local theater community. And so as we provide that, let's make sure that we keep this page up to date. And then the last couple things. I have included this help forum. Sometimes I find these are distracting and sometimes I find they're helpful. It just depends on whether you're good at managing them or not. So just know this is here. You can delete it if you would like. And I have given them this Flipgrid thing where they can introduce themselves. I learned about Flipgrid in the digital professorship certification. I am enchanted with it, although the setup seems to be a little bit involved. So just be aware that it's here and I have incorporated it in the stuff that I've done. Do as you wish. Okay, so now I want to talk through what a module can look like as we are building this together. And again, I'm just trying to follow these digital professorship things. So each module has an overview. It has a section titled Learning Activities and a section titled Assignments. And this is a structure that I have built within each of these modules. So you guys don't have to make this, it's just there. The idea is that the learning activities, whether it's a lecture or a video or a short discussion or a short quiz, these activities are all about helping students process the information. So it's not necessarily about analysis, it's more helping them remember and checking their understanding and stuff like that. The assignments get into a little bit of the analysis and application of the content. So that's the philosophical pedagogy that I've built in here. Each module overview has the same things. You've got one sentence that kind of tells us what it's about. You've got a sentence that restates the course learning outcomes. So going back to the big picture, we've got some bullet points that are looking at the module learning outcomes. And these you can actually get a feel for if you go to the Valencia, the course description at Valencia. And then we've got the learning activities. So we're really just listing out what are the pages and activities that you're going to see in this module. And so if I click next, it's going to take me sequentially through this lesson. So kind of like I just sat through a lecture, if I can just click next, next, next. And the hope is that sequentially each of these pages builds us up so that we can complete the task at the end. So you're going to see, sometimes we have videos that we are strategically including as a department, and sometimes there are videos that those of us who have built the module have just made. The hope is that the ones that are kind of department sponsored, that you keep those. And the ones that are the videos that we've just kind of made, you are welcome to replace those as you see fit. And the truth is, a lot of this you can just replace as you see fit. This is a video that I have made. I realized that when I give this lecture, I start this class out like this, and then I start to ask them a lot of questions. So in this video, I asked them a bunch of questions. I set the framework of Peter Brook, because I like Peter Brook. And then I asked them to have a discussion. So and this is just me, this is not something you need to do. My philosophy is, let's have them define what they think they know first. because then we can get that on the table and then we can kind of refine it as we talk. So here's a discussion. What do you think you know, and how does this apply to life? Next, I'm giving them really a whole bunch of content. So I'm asking them to read the textbook, and then I'm giving them 3 different videos. So these 2 are videos that I have made based on my lectures. This 3rd video is going to be by John Dodonna, talking about differentiating theater from other art forms. So the video by John would be one of the department-sponsored videos. It'd be super cool if you could keep that. These 2 videos that I have made, I made them in haste. So replace them. Rock on with your bad self. Or keep them. Whatever you need. Now I've worked in a quiz. So this quiz, the goal of this quiz is to give students a way to kind of process the video and check their understanding. So here's a preview of this quiz. Right now it's 4 points. You can change that. We'll figure that out. This is just matching. These are definitions that I talked about in the video. And then I give them 3 different videos of theater. And then I ask them to decide whether they think it is theater or not. And so this is what the student sees. So if they didn't answer it, they see that. No matter what they answer on these 3 videos, I've built in a little bit of a teaching moment. They get immediate feedback. And a little bit of my rationale. So taking this back to the lessons, taking it back to the lectures. So then there's another video, and then we're getting on to this assignment. And so this is the larger assessment within the module. And these are the learning outcomes. Like, this is what this is hoping to show. So part 1, this is what they're doing in their first post. They're defining theater in their own words, which hopefully has evolved since they defined it earlier on. They're going to find their own video examples. They're going to explain why those video examples represent theater. They're going to create their own act of theater, making it really super short. Looking at that Peter Brook definition, and then explaining, and then responding. One of the things I am hoping to build in, and I think we're going to reference Amanda Kern for this, is within everything that requires a submission, we're going to try to build in how to submit this assignment. If this is something that you are good at, sweet. If this is not something that you're good at, we have some resources to help us build that into this course. But I think it's helpful. So that is a look at a module as we are building this together. You will see that I have added in things. A lot of this, like these 2 things, I know that I want a module overview. So I've put a page in that, but you, as you build your modules, will have to fill that out. These learning activities, I mean, we know we're going to have a lesson that is something like this. This task, formatting a play, I was brainstorming when I thought that I was building this by myself. So you can use that if it makes you happy. You don't have to use it if it doesn't. And that's how this is. What we do want to make sure is that whatever we're doing is going to help build towards something that could be a cumulative assessment for that section. So it doesn't have to be what I have put here. What I anticipate is that as a group, we can kind of make a test, and we can make a project, and we can make some offerings, and the individual teacher can choose the assignment that they use for the assessment. And we can choose to publish or not based on what we choose. Um, but that's what I'm envisioning. So I hope this is helpful. I hope this helps us all get kind of on the same page. I do want to point us towards this resource build. As we are building this together, um, I want us to create a checklist of the things that we need to address, because as we are transferring this shell from one semester to the next, um, there are things that will have to be reset every semester. So um, I have found that sending students announcements reminding them that things are due is really helpful. So I am building in announcements um, that are connected to the modules that I create. Those announcements will need to be, the dates will need to be reset. So that's something every semester we have to do this. If I am new to this class and I have just been sent this shell, there are some changes that I'm going to have to make. Like I'm going to have to make my own facilitator profile. I'm going to need to make my own facilitator introduction video. As we move this course from one semester to the next, we're going to have to change assignment due dates. So this is kind of the checklist. I think that we can add to this as we build it. So for example, I need to add Flipgrid to this because I have integrated it, and we want to make sure we have that resource so people can set that up for themselves if they would like. So I'm going to include that in this list. I have included the Valencia course description, so this is the PDF that explains the course. And so as we are looking for objectives and how we are evaluating learning, these are the things that are documented by the college. So these are the things that we want to think about. And so as we are looking at like module objectives and stuff like that, a lot of this verbiage we can borrow from this. We also have the module planning template. And this is just something that was from the digital professorship, but it helps as we are planning those module overviews. And starting to work through what kinds of activities and lectures that we include. So this is a resource that is included for you as you go through this. And then finally, these are just helpful websites and links that tend to be repositories for videos that are within our industry and are helpful. So it's a shortcut to the American Theater Wing. I believe I've got a link for Crash Course in here. I was personally trying to keep track of Delsart, so that is left over from my personal brainstorming. But as we want to keep resources, let's keep them here for us. Okay, so that is what we have built. I hope that this is a sandbox that you feel like you can play in. I hope that we can work together to build something that is cohesive. And I'm super excited to have more people join me in this journey. So thank you for being here and thank you for playing. I think we can build something that will be inspiring and inclusive and will help our students connect to theater and to the Valencia community and the Orlando community. If there are things that you think are really don't work, just tell me. Let me know, and I think that we can work it out. Everything that we build will at the very least be a structure that we can consider a really excellent first draft. So thank you very much for all of your help. And I look forward to working with you. Bye.